Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another episode of The Creator Speaks. Before we begin, I want to say something. I want to sincerely apologize for the lack of videos that have been coming out from this channel over the past several weeks. I'm not in my usual location for making videos, and here it's a bit harder for me to do it, but rest assured, whenever I do have free time, I am writing new material for Pile Obscurities and From Screen to Stage, and I'm trying to record them as best as I can. So during this little period, I beg that you just stay with me, because I promise when I do get back to my location, videos are going to come out a lot sooner and a lot better. But with all that said, last time on The Creator Speaks, I took a look at Nickelodeon and what I thought was wrong with that network and how I would personally fix it. That video did moderately well, and as I said in that video, I would take a look at the other networks, Disney Channel and Cartoon Network. This time, we're going to be taking a look at, as you can clearly see, the Disney Channel, what I think is wrong with it, and how I would personally fix it. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first problem that I think Disney Channel has isn't as big as many people make it out to be, at least for me. It's certainly a complaint that a lot of critics of the network have had for a long time, but compared to what I will get to next, this is not the biggest problem for me. And that would be a lot of gimmicky live-action shows. Now, the reason why many people think this is a problem, the reason why I think this is a problem, is because without the gimmicks to these shows, whether it be a talking dog in Dog with a Blog, or twins in Liv and Maddie, or a singer in Austin and Ally, there's nothing else that distinguishes the show. They're basically the same show with the same types of characters and the archetypes of characters and sometimes even similar plots, but they just have a gimmick which makes them suddenly different, and that's a problem. But again, that's not the biggest problem that I think the network has. The biggest problem that I think the network has, at least as I see it, is this. Not enough emphasis on cartoons. Now, to illustrate this visually, I've made a little chart here showing the year 2005 and this year, 2015, and how many cartoon shows they're currently doing. In 2005, they did 7. In 2015, only 3. For a company like Disney that has built itself upon great animated features, it is a tad odd that their main network doesn't show that. It doesn't exemplify that commitment to animation. And all those things combined leads us to what the chart says. Now, this is the same chart that I used in my Nickelodeon video, but it illustrates the other two networks, so I'm going to reuse it. Now, in 2012, Disney Channel was doing moderately well, especially when compared to its competition Nickelodeon, which in that year had its big decline, which we talked about in the last video. However, after that point, they went from that to about as well as Nickelodeon was doing. So after 2012, they started to decline because they did more live-action shows, which, again, relied on a gimmick that if the gimmick was bad, then the show was basically bad. So with all that said and done, how do I fix it, or how do we fix it? Well, I have a few ideas. Step 1 is to create a balance between the live-action shows and the cartoon shows. I know, not a real surprise. Maybe you would do 5 live-action shows and 5 cartoon shows, which would result in more variety in your programming. Step 2 is to create a gender balance between the shows. A lot of the shows on the Disney Channel have female protagonists, and it's catering to a largely female audience. The reason why I mention it, though, is because it's called the Disney Channel. It's not called the Disney Girls Channel or the Female Disney Channel. It's called the Disney Channel. So I don't like that it's focusing on one specific gender. Now you could argue, well, they have Disney XD. Disney XD is built upon catering to a male audience, a male demographic. If they want to do something like that for females, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But don't do it on the original Disney Channel that that should cater, in my opinion, to all demographics, all ages, boy, girl, etc. So how you could do this is maybe have 5 shows with female protagonists and maybe 5 with male. That would result in, again, not catering to one specific audience. Step 3. Create shows based on old IP, which again would result in more variety in Disney Channel's programming. You're seeing a pattern here. Disney Channel needs to do a lot more variety. And they sort of did that in the past, because in the past, in the 90s, they turned Alice in Wonderland and sort of revamped it into becoming Adventures in Wonderland, which is on YouTube on various channels. I actually think that the show was a really good way to sort of create a modernized version of Alice in Wonderland, but still sticking to the core values of the source material, that Wonderland is wacky and sometimes upside down. That's the way to do it. Sadly, they don't do that anymore, which I think is very sad. And finally, step 4. Reinstitute classic show blocks, which would result in introducing your audience and your main demographics to what the channel was founded upon, which was mainly the animation, and more variety in the programming. Now, blocks that I would like to see come back would be, first, Vault Disney, which, if you don't know what that is, as far as I've come to know it, was that they would re-air something like the Disney park opening week specials where they would highlight the parks, and they would re-air some episodes of the old Disneyland TV show. If they did that nowadays, I think that would be really interesting for people to see the man himself that the network was named after. And a block that I would pay to see come back is The Wonderful World of Disney. I want to say that it got cut relatively after Wall-E was released, because I think they did some sort of thing with Wall-E when that was the big thing. But I think I didn't hear anything else after that. But I would like to see that block come back, because I think, especially with sort of how Bob Iger, who's the CEO of Disney, at least at this point of making this video, I think he could do sort of what Walt and Michael Eisner did and be a very good host. So, yeah, that's really all I got to say on what I think was wrong with the Disney Channel and how I would personally fix it. If you guys have anything that you think I missed or want to discuss what I've said in this video, feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know. And remember to tune in to the next episode of The Creator Speaks, in which I will be talking about the Cartoon Network, which, honestly, out of the 3 of them, is probably going to be the hardest for me to actually think of things that are wrong with it and how I would fix it, at least at this point. But yeah, tune in to see what I think of that one. And until next time, guys, I'll be seeing you.